This is East Idaho Newsmakers with Nate Eaton.
Welcome to East Idaho Newsmakers. Today we have 4 young men that are making a difference in our community. You may have heard about their story a few weeks ago after the tragic death of 2 of their friends. They were killed in a car crash at a railroad crossing. Rather than dwell on that and mourn, I'm sure they did mourn, these guys decided to do something, and it got all the way to the governor's desk, Governor Otter's desk. So let me introduce you to Mason Flanary, Dawson Jensen, Bridger Vickers, and Bridger Stoddard. They are up here from Madison County talking with us today. Bridger, we'll start with you. Just tell me first of all, your friends were Tanner and Teagen.
Yes.
And after the crash happened, what did you guys decide to do?
You know, we all kind of got together into this group, and we decided to turn something that was a tragic into, something positive. So we all got together, and we came up with a list of, 5 or 6 ideas of how we could prevent this from happening further. And so we just kind of started making our way down this list, and we ended up with our short term, which was getting the tracks exempt.
The two of your friends were killed at a railroad crossing. It's a railroad crossing, from what I understand, Dawson, is not used frequently. It's not a real popular one.
Yeah, it's not used very often. It just 30 times is what Simplot uses it for a year.
A year, so yeah, it's rare that there's a train on those tracks. So Bridger mentioned getting it exempt. What does that mean?
So basically what that means is that buses that you normally have to stop and trucks that normally have to stop there they don't have to stop anymore. They get to drive past that, and trains have to stop and wait for traffic to die down.
Now, when you came up with this project, Mason, when you all talked about this, did you have any idea the process to go through, or was it kind of starting cold?
Oh, I knew this was going to take a while, and I knew it would take some work. I don't know. I didn't think it would work this fast. Definitely not. But all the stuff that we've done, I'm happy with it.
Talk about what some of the first steps you took.
We just started calling people. People on Facebook already. We had so much help from people we know, friends, family, and they were telling us all this stuff. And then we just started. Courtney, he knows a lot of people, so he helped us. And we talked to Simplot and everyone, and most people were all on board. So
Courtney is Dawson's stepdad. Bridger, you guys got together, you start making all these contacts, and your request was simple, to make this area exempt from people having to stop.
Yep.
And as you're investigating this and doing this, what was the response you were getting from these groups?
So the people I talked to, when I told them what we were trying to do, they were all really supportive, because pretty much everyone you talk to has a story of those tracks about almost rear-ending a tanker, or people in school buses, drivers saying that they've almost been rear-ended a bunch of times. So
people related to it. They knew they had been there, and other crashes have happened. And what happened from there, Bridger?
Coming forward with it, we, like Mason said, we had a lot of help and support from the community, and it spiraled. Everyone was on board. We went through, we talked to Simplot, and he talked to the Fremont County Bus District, and they were all on board. They gave us facts. Simplot was all on board, since they only used it 15 to 30 times a year. And, I didn't think it would take off this quick, but as soon as we were able to sit down in the Sugar-Salem High School with the governor, it all just went from there and went in our way.
Your friends died about a month ago? Was it a month ago?
2 or 3 weeks.
About 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, so less than a month ago.
Yep.
So you're doing all of this in 3 weeks. You mentioned the governor. What happened there? How did this end up that Governor Otter, that you're face to face with the governor?
Well, he ended up having a capital for a day, I believe that's what it's called, in Sugar-Salem. And Jason and Courtney, they kind of talked about it, and Jason says, well, let's get you guys over, to the public meeting and see if we can get a little quick private meeting. And we were all there, and we ended up talking to the governor for sharing our stories and a few facts we had, and just kind of went rolling from there.
Jason's with ITD?
Yeah.
And then you also worked with Joey Haynes, who's with the railroad company.
Yeah, that's right.
So what was it like being with the governor, Mason, as you guys all went in?
It was pretty intense.
Yeah.
It was good, though. It was really good.
Tell me about that meeting.
So they were gonna have the public meeting, but before he wanted to just have us come and talk to him, so he came and sat us down. And then each one of us talked to him about what we found and the facts that we have gotten. And then after that, he said thank you, and then they started the public meeting after that. And then, and we had to go back to school, so he tried to bring it up earlier in the meeting so we could go. And he goes up there, and we say the prayer and we say the pledge, and he brings up Joey and Jason, and they come up and they tell us and they talk to us. He says, yeah, I talked to these young men, and he grabs me, he says, we'd like to exempt the tracks.
And you guys
Right
didn't
there.
know that was going to happen?
No.
What were you expecting before that?
I thought it was going to take longer. I honestly did. I didn't think that they were going to do it right then and there. I mean, I think I can speak for all of us. It was all just kind of a sob story, trying to read our letters and facts to the governor, and then they sprung that on us, and it was heartwarming.
Just a shock.
Yeah.
So he says right there, we're going to exempt it, and has it gone into effect?
They haven't put the signs up yet, but they will be up within the next couple of weeks.
And by the time this airs, the signs may be up there, so we'll have to follow up on that. What did you tell the governor, Bridger, when you went in? You guys say you were armed with facts. Like, what type of things were you telling them?
So I talked to the Fremont County bus people, and that lady was really nice. She told me, she pulled up on her computer all the facts. She told me about the buses that cross there, how many and how many times. And that was pretty cool. There was 9 buses that crossed those 21 times a day, which is a lot. So, yeah, and she gave me a map that showed where the buses cross. And I just showed that to the governor and told him about Teagen and how I knew him, and yeah.
And what did you talk to him about?
So I talked to him about Simplot, and I had gone in and, I sat down with Simplot, and they were all on board. They'd given me, they said the northbound probably gets used more than the southbound, because if there's less cars, then they only have to take up the northbound lane. So that got used quite a bit more than the southbound, but they were all helpful and wanting it changed. They'd been wanting to get something done for a while, and they were immediately all on board with us and asked if they could help any other way. So
What was your focus?
I talked with the towing company, and what they told me is just that just this year they towed 3 cars, including Teagen's, and that was just one driver, and they
Towed from crashes there at that site.
yeah, just at
Wow.
that site, and he didn't say much more. But then just kind of shared our personal stories with Tanner and Teagen, and just kind of went on with it.
And what about you, Mason?
I talked to Jim Hansen from Conrad Bischoff, and they haul all kinds of oils and fuel, and I talked to him, and he says he has guys crossing that every day, and he's had like 3 accidents where cars have ran to the back of his trucks at those tracks, but it wasn't near as bad as these, but he's had a lot of problems there.
Did you guys reach any roadblocks, or was everyone supportive?
everyone was
Everyone was on board. We didn't have any trouble, which was crazy.
That is crazy. So 3 weeks, it goes from an idea, a tragedy, to an idea, to an exemption of a law. So can we elect all of you guys to the legislature and get some of our laws taken care of? I hope the lawmakers are watching, and we'll give them your cell phone numbers. Tell me about your friends. We did a story on them. We spoke to one of their fathers. Sounds like they loved motorbikeing.
Oh
Yeah, so I raced dirt bikes with Teagen. We were kind of race buddies, We were doing the series. We were doing the whole thing. We weren't going to miss any, and we went to St. George and all over to everything, and it was a lot of fun. And it wouldn't have been near as fun if he wasn't there. So.
What do you remember?
I've known Teagen since he was like 3. So their house is neighboring to our back door. And I just remember he'd get off the school bus and I'd hear a little 2-stroke dirt bike fire up, come flying up our dirt road and come knocking on the door. Hey man, do you want to come ride? And that's how it was growing up. Hey man, you want to go to the sand dunes? You want to go ride? It was always dirt biking or messing around on snowmobiles. I mean, it was just, that's how he was. Anything that would go fast, he wanted it.
So I actually met Teagen in astronomy class, and when I first met him, he told me about his truck, and I went to lunch with him a few days after I met him, and he had his truck, just throw it in neutral and just rev it about as loud as he could, and everywhere we went, he'd just rev his truck, and then met Tanner, not too long after that, and they let me go everywhere and do everything with them for a couple months. So
That's cool. Mason?
Teagen and Tanner were always fun to be around. When I hung out with them, it was like I'd always want to go hang out with them, or if someone asked me if they wanted, but if they asked me, I'd go with them because I knew it would be fun. And Teagen actually came to Madison for a year, and that's where I go to school. So every day I'd go to lunch with Teagen. We'd go up to Dawson's house or something and watch movies about snowmobiles or something. And it was fun.
You know, there's a lot of people when someone dies, they freeze up, they turn inward. But you guys are out here making a difference in their memory. I'm sure they're very proud and honored by it. Why do this?
We just decided to take something that was negative and turn it into a positive, and try to prevent it from happening to someone else or even a school bus. So.
And I think now that we see that, instead of like feeling sad about it, we can see something positive that we've done that'll be there forever now that we can think positively off of.
And it's really taught us that we can make a difference. You know, I've always thought we're kids, we can't do anything, no one's going to listen to us, but we can. So
In a way, probably more people listened because it was kids. Like I said, you generally don't find 4 teenage boys that want to do something like this. So our hats are definitely off to you. What would you say to other kids or people out there that, or maybe in a similar situation, that want to get something done? What would you tell them? What advice?
Don't text and drive. Don't try to mess around with your music. You know, just pay full attention and, you know, just be aware. Be aware of your surroundings because it can happen that quick. My dad always says it's not if, it's when, and you just don't know when it's going to happen.
And also, if you want to get something done, you know, just get a group of people and get help. Help is the biggest thing. If it was just one of us trying to do this, we couldn't have done it. Like it was a lot of work. You just have to have help. Friends are everything.
You guys have anything you want to add?
don't be afraid to talk to people about what happened and kind of get some facts and ask them for help. You know, that was a big thing. Is I know calling people, we were all a little bit nervous. But
you're calling the State Department,
yeah,
businesses, big companies.
But it ended up working out, so just don't be afraid to ask questions.
In a way, did it help to mourn their loss, to have you all get together and have something to focus on?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it helped the families a lot too. I've been visiting with the Bradshaws a lot since they're my neighbors, and you know they're just super supportive, and they're glad something's going into action. Same with the Nicols. So.
It makes me feel a little better because we've done something about it. We did something, you know. We didn't just say, "Oh, it happened. There's nothing we can do." They're gone.
Well, you guys are, like I said, you've done great work and you've inspired a lot of people, and we look forward to having those signs go up. And you can read previous coverage about this issue on East Idaho News. We've covered it. Other outlets have covered it. And we thank you guys for joining us. Mason, Flanary, Dawson, Jensen, Bridger, Vickers, and Bridger, Stoddard. Thank you for watching. Have a good week.